Hello, friends. Kristen again with ministrytochildren.com and my trusty sidekick Fiona, who will probably be popping up to say hello any minute. Now, today we've got some crafts for you, and our lesson this week is on the temptation of Jesus, which you might think could be a challenging one craft-wise, and at first glance, yes, it is, but the crafts we're going to make today are going to be focusing on the positive element of focusing on God instead of on what else might be troubling or tempting you. Now, for younger children, they might not really seem to have a whole lot of temptations that would drive their thoughts, but we're going to talk about how there still are temptations for them to do things that they know they're not supposed to do, or to maybe not listen to their parents, or not to do as they're told, or to disobey. And now the crafts that we're going to do have to do with the positives that they can focus their minds on. So they're both going to have to do with Bible verses and with putting Christ first. Both of these crafts use pretty similar materials and are both pretty simple to make. So hopefully this will be fun for you. The first craft that we're going to do is the Focus on Jesus bullseye. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a little bit of a target, and they're going to get to throw things at said target. Throwing things around is always fun. So you're going to need a paper plate. You're going to need some decorative materials like markers or colored pencils or crayons, some paper, and probably also some scissors and glue, depending how elaborate you want to go. And then a couple of popsicle sticks, or you can use paper for this. So what you're going to do is you're going to decorate your paper plate. Now, if you prefer, you can do this by cutting out a piece of paper and putting it on there. You can even make it extra targety by cutting multiple pieces of paper and putting them on there. Targety is a word, right? I'm sure it is. It is now. Or you can simply do this with markers as well. So basically, the idea is that you are making a list of ideas that kids can focus on and look to when they're feeling like maybe they want to do something negative. So, let's say that they're having a hard time because they want to do something they're not supposed to do. Well, this target is going to show you what you can focus on instead. So what you're going to help the kids to do is you're going to help them to make some ideas, come up with some ideas of things that would focus their mind on positives. So maybe you make an outer ring you're making kind of multiple choices of good things for them to do. So help them to kind of decorate it with some colors to liven it up. Maybe on the outside you can put something like go for a walk, or pet the dog, or talk to a friend on the phone, or a whole, go outside, plan a picnic, build a fort. So these are all things that just help the kids to come up with some choices of ideas of things that they could do that would be positive or constructive. Now, of course, you could also have the most important one of all, pray. So hopefully that will be something that is on their minds. Hopefully something they're going to do all the time anyways. And you can have them add little pictures of this if they want to, put some little praying hands together, make a little doggy on the outside for going for a walk, or a little shoe, something that will help them to remember, something that's fun. Of course, an essential, hopefully, is read your Bible. That should be on the list of things that will help you if you're having a hard time, or if you're wanting to really focus on choosing to obey. And you can also have something else. Write a note, draw a picture, or something that's just a constructive activity. Then in the center of your target, of your bullseye, you're going to put a cross. So if you want to do this with popsicle sticks, you can glue them together, like my lovely assistant, or you can cut it out of paper, or you can simply draw a cross as well, and then you're going to place that in the center. Once it's glued and stuck together, you're going to place that in the center as well. And then what you're going to do with your paper if you haven't already used it for your cross or your background of your target, is you're going to have, this is going to be what they're going to throw at the target. So your paper, if you are super gifted and creative with paper, you can make it into a little paper airplane shape or an arrow, or you can attach it to something that's going to throw more, or you can just have it be a strip of paper. And then this is going to be your temptations. So when the temptations come, or when you're wondering what to do or having a hard time, you've got your temptations here. You can ball that up or make it into a plane or something that will fly better. Then the idea here is you have your constructive options target. You can have this hung somewhere or taped or magneted or however, and then you're going to throw your temptation at the target. And if you also, if you want it to be extra, like a sticky, like a dartboard, you could even put some tape on here, and that would be something that will stick. And then you're going to throw it at the target. Wahoo! And not only will the act of throwing put your mind on something fun and positive, but it'll also remind you, oh, here's my other options. Well, maybe I landed on go outside. Maybe I landed on pray. Maybe I landed on look up another Bible verse. And that will help you to remember something positive you can do when feeling worried or nervous or anxious or tempted. Because tempted, again, might not be something that necessarily hits home to kids, but they have other emotions that can be frustrating. So this is going to give you some positive things to put your mind on instead of the other negative feelings. So that is option number one. And of course, at the center of that, you've got your cross to remind you of really what you want to focus on. So that's craft number one. Craft number two is going to be your loaf of Bible verses. So in the story, when we're learning about the temptation of Christ, one of the things that comes up is Satan says, well, here, turn these rocks into loaves of bread and just eat them up and you won't be hungry anymore. Well, eating bread is not a bad thing, but eating bread that the devil tells you to make is. So that's what we're going to be focused instead on the response of Jesus, which is man does not live by bread alone, but by the words of God. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn a fun little paper bag into a loaf of bread. And then on the inside, you're going to stick some important Bible verses that will help you remember the story. So on the outside of this bag, you can decorate it however much or however little as you want, but you might put something catchy like bread of life or not by bread alone, because that's kind of the key verse of the story. And then you're going to, on the inside of this bag, you're going to be making some slices of bread. So you're going to help the students to cut out bread slice shaped pieces of paper with just regular construction paper or cardstock or cardboard or felt if you want to get super creative and have it be really fun and bready. And then on these, they're going to write other key verses. So it might help to draw the piece of bread first, maybe if that makes it a little easier to cut out. Bread's not terribly hard to cut. That obviously isn't a straight line, but it's basically a square with kind of like a heart-shaped top. This is an authentic slice because it's misshapen. And when is a slice perfect? So you're going to help the students, if they need help cutting, to cut out their loaf slices. And then you're going to give them some good verse options to place onto these slices of bread, which, interestingly enough, kind of also look almost like a little tablet of the Ten Commandments, which is also a good thing to remember. So here's your little slice of bread, and then you're going to help them to have a key verse that they can write down on that, or they can draw a picture. If they're younger, they can draw a picture that will help remember that, or draw a picture of the positive things in their lives. Then they're going to put these slices, these verse slices, they're going to slide inside of their paper bag, and you can have them do several. And then you're going to have your little loaf here. You can kind of help them to seal it up and maybe to tape it off or to glue it if you want it to be secure, but you also want it to be something they can open it, you can staple it. So here's your loaf, and then they're going to open up their loaf and pull out their slices, and that can be something that reminds them of what we talked about or of what they are focusing on. So again, this can be just something that's a fun, helpful, handy verse toter or things to remember, or a good way to remember the season of Lent and what we want to focus on during that season and during this time. So this is going to be the first Sunday of Lent if you're celebrating that. And what a great time to talk about the temptation of Jesus and how he overcame that with God's help. So that is our craft options for today. Have fun. Go make some crafts. Go make some verses. Don't make verses. Read verses. God already made them. But anyways, have fun. Make some disciples. We'll see you next time.